Every year, the Super Bowl delivers unforgettable moments. Whether it's a jaw-dropping halftime performance, a nail-biting game, or a commercial that makes you laugh, cry, or both. But did you know that these ads are more than just entertainment? They are massive business moves. According to reports, a 30-second Super Bowl ad now costs over $8 million. Yes, you heard right. $8 million. That's a staggering investment for brands trying to win your heart and ultimately your wallet, because they have to make the money back, right? And even as a marketer myself, I can tell you that that is a lot of money for just 30 seconds ad. And then you wonder why? Why do they do this? Because guess what? There's a long line of brands who are eager to pay this amount of this money. Some of them are even returning. So it means that they've done it before, they've seen that it worked, and then they've come back again. So we have brands like Budweiser, we have Doritos, we have Mountain Dew, GoDaddy, Springles, Squarespace, Uber Eats, like a lot of brands just on the queue. It's like I think over 50 brands, if I'm not wrong, right, who are lining up to basically showcase on this platform. And it's like, why? Why are they doing this? And so in today's video, we're going to talk about the why. Obviously, why do brands spend this much money on the Super Bowl ads? We're going to talk about how it benefits the brand. And then we're going to talk about the strategies, right? What strategies are these brands actually using to make sure that they stand out? Because I think one very important thing is, even if you're going to do an ad on Super Bowl, you have to have a strategy for before, for after, to make sure that you sustain it and not just pay money once and that's all. There has to be a strategy. So we're going to talk about the strategies that have been applied by these brands. And then we're also going to talk about the challenges, because I think that with every big ad and every platform like this, or whatever has a pro, definitely has a con. So if this is something that you're interested in, definitely watch this video till the very end. Now, before we go into all the marketing conversation, the analysis, let's talk very quickly about what the Super Bowl is. The Super Bowl is the championship game of the National Football League, and it is one of the biggest sporting events in the world. It is held annually in early February, and it determines the season's best team from the AFC, that's the American Football Conference, and NFC, National Football Conference. In simple terms, American football. Yeah, American football, and it is beyond football, if I'm being honest, because it's also become a major pop culture event, because everybody probably has it penned down somewhere, Super Bowl. And sometimes it's not even because of the football, because I'm not sure that a lot of people follow the American football. I mean, personally, I don't follow it. And a lot of other people who are probably not Americans, but it's a pop culture event because there's going to be a halftime show, which is usually filled with music performance by A-list stars. We've had Beyonce, Rihanna, Snoop Dogg, Shakira, and this year we're going to have Kendrick Lamar, who is headlining the show. So it's a culture thing. So even if you're not there for the sports or for football, you're there for music. And if you're not there for music, you're there for the commercials, because that's another very important thing that people talk about, the commercials. The commercials here and the advertisement and the ads on this platform are the most expensive and the most talked about. Like, everybody talks about it. It's like almost something that makes you feel cool. If you don't know about it, it's like, oh, you're not cool, you're not an it girl and it boy. So everybody pays attention to this. And annually, it is said to have over 100 million viewers. And these viewers are people that can be counted, right? Or maybe, because I can imagine that on one laptop or on one television, there are about maybe 5 people watching from one. So it means the calculation doesn't even count for the extras. And then it doesn't even count for people like me who are in Nigeria and are still going to find a way to watch. So you know what I mean? So it means that the eyeballs that brands get, massive, right? Massive. And this year, the Super Bowl 59 will take place on Sunday, February 9, 2025, at the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana. The game will feature the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. And the halftime show is headlined, like I said again, by Kendrick Lamar. So it's a real thing. It's a battle of, sports, but also a battle of marketing or advertising, and also a time for us to just watch the awesome Kendrick Lamar and other stars give us some vibes and all of that. So that's what it is. So now that you're all caught up, let's go into the part that is the most exciting for me and for most advertisers or marketers. According to reports here, in 2023, the game pulled in 815 million viewers, right? In 2024, that number skyrocketed to 123.7 million. And by 2025, that's this year, it probably, most likely, will hit 150 million. And let me say this, these are platforms, these calculations or this audience number is based on the people that can be counted and can be accounted for, the platforms. So these media platforms and agencies are able to count that. But I can tell you that there are people who are not being accounted for. And I don't even think that this covers the number of people who would watch the ads the next day, the people who go on YouTube, on Twitter, on X, on Instagram to, analyze it, to watch again. So they're like the eyeballs just massive. And then also, unlike every other or unlike most platforms where you cannot really measure how many people are going to see your ads or how long people would watch your ads for, or if people will pause your ads or if people will skip your ads, because this is a live viewing experience, it means that everybody who is present at the show, who is watching the show, watching at home, who is watching at the stadium, they're all going to see your ads. So there's no skipping. There's no, oh, let me skip, I'm not going to watch it. No. Like, unlike all the streaming platforms where people will skip, the Super Bowl is watched live, meaning that viewers have no choice but to sit through the commercials. And this makes it one of the rare moments where advertisers know for sure that their message is being seen. So I'm very sure that as a marketing professional, if somebody tells me to pay extra for the guarantee that this number of people will see your ads, you would pay. And then the cultural and social media impact. The world is digital, so it means when it's great ad or even when it's bad ad, people will talk about it. So when the show happens on Sunday, on Monday at work, in classroom, people are talking about the ad. People are talking about what they saw because people want to be part of the in thing. People are analyzing what are the best commercials, what are the worst commercials, what are the new brands you discovered. Or you decide, okay, I've seen this ad, let me try out, let me visit their website, let me see what they're all about, let me try to understand them more. It has a whole impact. And because of this, there's the continuation, which means that you can continue to talk about the ad even beyond that one day. So these are like big reasons why brands actually spend so much on the Super Bowl ads. Now let's talk about the benefits of advertising at the Super Bowl for brands who do it. First is the brand awareness. The sheer scale of people who get to know your brand because of the Super Bowl is mind-blowing. Like, the Super Bowl has literally become a gold mine for brand recognition. We have brands who we know now who have gone to Super Bowl and just blown instantly. There are different ways to do marketing. You can decide to go slow and steady, and you can decide to just have your moment immediately and just spark up. You can do that with Super Bowl. One of the brands that I mentioned in a couple of weeks ago, like Temo had about 3 ads on Super Bowl. And instantly they caught the attention of people. So it's not strange that Temo has gone on to acquire a large number of people downloading their apps because they went to Super Bowl. They said, okay, we know where people are going to be. We're going to be there. And then you have movies like The Wicked, which premiered at the end of last year. But first, they did a teaser, or they advertised and showed the advertisement that it was coming at the Super Bowl in 2024. So it means they raised awareness for the show from February, even before the show would launch in November or October. Do you see that? So the Super Bowl gives you instant recognition, instant brand awareness, and that is gold mine. And for brands that are launching new products, for brands that are probably new in the market, for brands that are trying to come back to the market who have probably been forgotten and they're coming back, this is a good platform. Another benefit would be increase in streaming, increase in sales, increase in website visit, because people are curious about you and they're going to want to check you out. They're going to want to test you out. Even if it's for them to be able to say, oh, this is a bad product, they're going to check you out. So it means for that period, you're going to have increased visibility, increased sales, and it now depends on what you do with it. And it depends on if you have a great product. Because if you do have a great product, then people would basically start talking about it. Like, you don't have to do too much. People will just start talking about you. People retweeting you. You get a lot of end media. You're on YouTube. You're on Instagram. Like, you're everywhere. Let's talk about Rihanna in 2023. After her performance, her music stream skyrocketed by over 640%. Before then, probably people forgot that Rihanna had music, or maybe we knew. Of course, we know she's a musician, but we had probably forgotten some of her music. But after she came in and she performed some of her songs again, we remembered why she's an OG, and we went back to stream her songs. That increased streaming, and that of course made her more money. And then for her beauty brand Fenty, I'm sure immediately after she showcased it on the platform, a lot of people went on to buy the product. They wanted to try it for themselves. A lot of people who did not know about Fenty prior to then went ahead to, look for it and purchase it and try it on and make TikTok videos. Whether it was good or it was bad, but people tried it out. People saw it. That's increased visibility. That's massive visibility. And let's not talk about the people who go on to write articles, make YouTube videos about it. That's increasing the reach just because she was on that platform. So this tells you that not just the brands who advertise on the platform get to benefit from it, but also celebrities, right? Celebrities who probably headline the show, celebrities who are part of the advertisement. Everybody gets a boost. Imagine having my YouTube channel just there. It would be so dope, wouldn't it? Because I know people like to say, oh, brand awareness does not equal sales. But you know that the first step for people to buy anything is for them to be aware that that thing exists. So Super Bowl gives everyone, celebrities, brands, an opportunity to remind people that they exist. And from then, people are able to make purchasing decisions. Now we've spoken a lot about the benefits, which I think are really great stuff. Now let's talk about the challenges, right? Having big eyeball on a brand can be the best thing to happen to a brand or the worst thing to happen to a brand. Because if you have such a big eyeball on your brand or product, and then it is later discovered that your brand isn't all that, you will flop. You will flop in a big way, because millions and millions of people would remember that flop. So when brands are looking to do this, they need to make sure that their products are tight. Also, the amount of money that people get to pay for this is a lot, right? It's a lot of money. And the thing is, even though people are going to have to sit through and watch all the ads, how many people are going to remember all the 50 ads that they watch on that day? So it means there's a huge competition for you to be the one that that people remember. So how do you make sure that people remember you? It means that your creativity needs to be top notch. It means that it needs to be like, you need to have something that makes you stand out, which is why we've had people like Kanye West, who basically just did, I think Kanye West just did a UGC video where he was just talking and telling people his Yeezys are now on the website and people should just go and check it out. Like, very quick, very easy. Like, just very simple like that, right? And it is said that he broke his site. The sales just skyrocketed, right? So you need to find a way. It could be in the joke, it could be in something emotional, it could be something very different from what people see, but you have to find a way to make sure that people remember you. Because if people cannot remember you, then you've just spent a lot of money for no good reason. Now I'm going to share with you some strategies that I have noticed that the brands who win on these platforms or at the Super Bowl actually use to make sure that they succeed and they stand out and they get their return on investment. The first one I've noticed is the use of teasers, right? So the Super Bowl doesn't happen until the 9th of February 2025, but a month ago and like some months ago and weeks ago. Some brands have already announced that they will be at the Super Bowl. What this does is it makes people excited to see them. So people are looking forward to saying, oh, I'm going to see this brand. What are they going to do? Budweiser has announced, Uber Eats has announced, Doritos, Mountain Dew, Pringles, like they've basically released teasers to tell us that they're going to be advertising at the Super Bowl. So it means that when the Super Bowl happens, most people are excited to see what they're going to do. And also, people are already talking about them even in advance and ahead of the show. So that's a good way to leverage the influence of the Super Bowl. Another thing that I have seen very many brands do is they try to be funny. A lot of these ads are funny because when you make people laugh and they laugh genuinely, like their teeth and everything, they feel good and they remember. So a lot of these brands are very funny. They also don't try to be too salesy. They're not saying come and buy, come and buy, come and buy. They are more emotional in their storytelling. Especially like I watched an ad by Budweiser where it was a dog and a horse. And it was so like I think it was 2014 Budweiser ad. And it was so emotional, like, having a dog and an animal be friend a dog and a dog and the horse be friends. So you see, they were not just telling, oh, come and buy the drink. They're telling you about the emotion and about relationship and being a man's best friend or stuff like that, right? So a lot of these brands are not very salesy. They're more into relating to something that the human beings or their target audience can relate to. So that's another thing I've seen them do. They try to be funny, they try to make people laugh. They don't try to sell too hard. Actually, some of them don't try to sell at all. The ones that try to sell are very few of them. Most of them try not to sell. They just try to tell you a story that helps you build the connection so that you can remember them. Another strategy that I have seen is actually the use of celebrities, right? So a lot of these brands use celebrities to make you remember them, because when you remember the celebrity that you like, then you remember the art that he was a part of. I think I was watching, was it Springles ad, and I saw this guy from the movie. Now I forget the movie, but now I need to check for that movie. Hold on. Adam Brody, yes, Adam Brody, that's his name, Adam Brody. Yes, Adam Brody from Nobody Wants This. He is on the ad of Sprinkles. So even though I don't remember his name, I couldn't remember his name for a minute. I remember him and the role he acted, and so it's easy for me to remember the ad that he was a part of. So a lot of celebrities, or sorry, a lot of brands actually use celebrities for these reasons, because this celebrity is accepted, is loved, and it means that if people remember this celebrity, they would remember the brand. So that's another strategy that I have noticed. And another strategy is even after the Super Bowl. So after the Super Bowl, a lot of brands try to create virality. They try to do like engagements where you tell people to take pictures, take images, post on social media or TikTok so that people can actually continue the conversation, because the Super Bowl is for one day, all right? But you want your brand to still be talked about after that event is happening. And so most brands try to create this hype even after. So that's why teasers and then even post the advertising on social media, continue conversation on their platforms. They kind of do quizzes and engagement for people to keep engaging with them. They do ads that are shareable that people want to talk about on YouTube, like multiple platforms. So even though your ad is going on Super Bowl, you are not resting on just that ad. You're doing other things outside on Instagram, on social, on YouTube, to make people remember it, to make people see it. And even you are retargeting. So when somebody has probably watched your ad and they've gone online to talk about it, then you retarget those people because they are likely to remember you and they're likely to take an action because they've seen your ad somewhere and they want to test it out. So that's another thing. So before the teasers, the pre and post game, people or brands try to create buzz. And I think it's very important to mention at this point that, having the money to pay for the ad one time is not just enough. Brands need to be able to think about the post and the before, because these are good ways to leverage the influence of the Super Bowl. Because if you just pay for the ads and your ad goes live and you don't do anything after, You don't have plans to redirect people who clicked on it. You don't have plans to, talk about it on Instagram or social media. Some people even have influencers, talk about it, write blog post about it. Just create a buzz for yourself as a brand as well. That's also very important. So that's another strategy. And yeah, so on final thoughts, I would say that the Super Bowl isn't just a football game. I already mentioned it. It is one of the biggest advertising events of the year. And so for brand, it's a big shot at marketing history. For celebrities, it's a career defining moment. And so the next time you're watching Super Bowl, don't just focus on the game. Actually, I don't think most people focus on the game, but pay attention to the commercials as well, because in many ways, they are the real stars of the show. Okay? And until next time, I remain Jessica Fortunes. I hope that you enjoyed this. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. Make sure to like, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.